All right, welcome to another special edition of the Real Deal podcast. I hope everyone is getting ready to enjoy Thanksgiving and it's Thanksgiving Eve. So I had to bring a special guest. He'll be on in a few minutes, but let's go. All right, welcome to another great edition, special edition of the Real Deal. This is the Thanksgiving Friendsgiving edition of the podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Glad to be back with another episode. Since it's Thanksgiving, I decided to do a show a little earlier than Saturday, so everyone can enjoy, the holidays. And so yeah, I had to, like I said, I had to bring a special guest. But before I bring her on, she's a returning guest, a good friend. I don't even call her guest; she's a podcast family friend and everything. So, but you can follow the show on all the podcast platforms and social media platforms on Google, Apple, Spotify, Roku, bs3tvlive.com, Roku channel. You follow me on all those platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. We're also on Spreaker. So wherever you get podcasts, you can find the show there. So without further ado, I have to bring in my friend to the show, Paloma Escobedo. She is a former uh, former D1, I should say D1 former college tennis player. But besides that, she does a little bit of everything: tennis, paddle, racket. I mean, she with anything with a racket, she is great at as well. So, Paloma, welcome back to the show. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on the real deal, Courtney. This is awesome. I love it.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, I think you've done this show quite a few times. So, like I said, not even a guest. This is it. So I said Friendsgiving. So you are a good friend of mine. So it was only right to have you on. So happy
You
Thanksgiving to you and your family. That's
as
coming
well.
up. Thanksgiving's tomorrow. So we'll talk about a little bit how we're gonna celebrate and all that too. We'll do that at the end of the show. But how's everything going, friend? Been a little bit. So even though we keep in contact with each other, but how's life treating you and staying busy?
Everything is good. Like you said, I dabble in everything that has a racket.
Yes.
Pickleball, padel, paddle.
Yeah.
We always make a joke in my family that my sister sometimes can't keep track of. Like she's like, "Wait, what sport are you playing again? What tournament is this?"
Yeah.
Like it's okay. We'll keep track. But yeah, it's been great. I am really happy. I teaching a lot, which is
Yeah.
great. Spending a lot of time with my family. Very excited for the holidays. I actually, since you and I met in the apparel world, I know you'll find this pretty interesting. I've
Mm.
actually gotten into learning about design and sewing
Oh,
eventually.
okay.
I think I had mentioned to you before that I had sketched
Yes.
for starting my tennis dress line. So that's still in the works. But it's a
Okay.
lot to learn, which is great. Did not know how to sew. I'm learning. So but it's great. Just been reading a lot up on, I'm actually taking, I don't know if you ever heard of Masterclass, but have you heard
Yes.
of that? It's a great platform with just Steph Curry can give you a basketball lesson. Serena can give you a tennis lesson. But the one I'm taking is actually with the chief and editor in Vogue, Anna Winter. So I'm actually learning a lot about just like business and creation and having these inspiring ideas for clothing. So
Okay.
it's been really good. Yeah, I love it.
No doubt. Yeah, I remember me and you
Yeah.
were talking about that, and you said getting into the apparel, and you do have a background in apparel. We worked together
Yeah.
in apparel business, and I'm still there. And a lot of
Right.
changes happening there and everything too. But yeah, that's how we met, and I knew, like you said, you was working on, like I said, a tennis apparel, tennis dress skirts apparel, things like that. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that it's still in the works, and I can't wait to see how that's going for you as well. So yeah, congratulations on that. And I know
Thank
you
you.
said like says hard work at sewing and designing and and everything. I'm sure it's like a lot going on with that.
It is, and it's but the fun part is that I'm just constantly learning, and that's kind of how I
Yes.
that's the reason why I've stayed in rackets for so long too, is with all of these new sports, constantly learning. And the
Mm.
beautiful thing about it is that I can marry the two. I love fashion and I love sports. So the nice thing is that especially with all of these racket sports, it used to be like, oh, it's I say tennis dresses, but now I'm thinking, oh, well, with all these other racket sports, I can that's 5 sports right there that I can,
Yeah.
tailor my dresses to, or
Hmm.
show, reps, or kind of like, what we used to do. So it's
Yep.
pretty exciting. They're my two favorite things in the world, sports and fashion. So why not put them together, right?
Put them together, right? And you've always been fashionable, and you love
Thank you.
that, yeah, and for sure. And you said, and I've interviewed a lot of different, and just seeing in general on social media,
Hmm.
a lot of different influencers and things like that, and from tennis, from
Hmm.
all the racket sports in general, and talk about you want to look good on the court too, and
Absolutely.
yeah, and on top of that, feel good and play well as
Hmm.
well. So why not have that? And like I said, and you're very fashionable and great with tennis and pickleball and all the racket sports. Uh, it fits. It just goes hand in hand.
Oh yeah, especially like I know it's so funny. My dad always laughs at me because when it's time for like the US Open or any Grand Slam,
Mm.
I tune in obviously to watch the matches, but my favorite part is seeing what Nike came out with, or the outfits,
Yeah.
I'm like, what is well, not anymore, sadly, but Rafa. I was always thinking, what's Rafa
Yeah.
gonna wear?
Yes.
What colors is it, what colors, what color scheme are they going with? Or
Yep.
it's really fun for me. So I love it.
No, that's true, and you're right, and you had, like, Serena was super fashionable,
Oh yeah.
and now Naomi Osaka, and she just
Yeah.
during the US Open, and I said we haven't talked about that, but during the US Open
Mhm.
when she was playing, she had that bow, and it was
The
the
bow. Yeah.
yeah, the flowy, yeah, yeah, so,
Yeah.
like, the fashion and, these brands like
Yeah.
Nike and New Balance, Coco Golf on New Balance, and,
Yeah.
just and I'm like, "That's right up your wheelhouse right there,
Oh
all the
my, it's
fashion."
so funny. I had a lot of friends sending me the Naomi Osaka dress because
Mhm.
I'm a huge ribbon bow person. But
Okay,
it's
yeah.
funny because to me that made it seem like, well, you can still be feminine and, wear a cute
Yeah,
dress and play sports. You don't have to be a tomboy.
yep.
So it kind of just makes it more fun. And I actually really like that outfit. A lot of people didn't think so, but I thought it was creative.
Very
So
creative.
kudos to her. She rocked it well.
Yeah, she did, and I think sometimes, fans and just in general, people thought like, "Oh, she's gonna play with that bow." I'm like, "No, it's a fashion. It's
It's a
not like."
fashion statement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she took the bow off, and then it was
Yeah.
just she got on the court and
Mhm.
was playing, and she took it off as a fashion statement. I mean, Serena used to have all types of different
Yeah.
fashion. Venus and you said,
Yes.
like, Nadal. We're gonna get into Nadal and the retirement. I
Mhm.
I had to get you on because I knew he officially retired a couple weeks ago, but as I said, I
Yeah.
gotta get Paloma on, so I figured this was a good transition into that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Nadal and the retirement. I know that's your favorite. He's your favorite
Oh yeah.
athlete in tennis. He's your favorite athlete of all time and just in general in all sports?
He's up there. I mean, of course I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan.
Me too.
With just what he stood for, just like not only the athlete that they are, but just what they stood for as a person, just hard work and how all of that translates into all, aspects of life. But I would say Nadal is probably he's number one or number two. But I mean, well, number one, but I've been very sad lately
Yeah,
with his
I know.
retirement. With him, I really loved Roger a lot too. Roger was one of my favorites as well. Just again, what they stood for, just how classy they are, the type of role model that they are, just as an athlete, and to
Mm,
all the young kids watching, I think they just do such a great job of showing what great looks like, and on and off the court, and how they handle themselves, like, handling adversity on the court,
yeah.
things like that. So I've been pretty sad since I heard about Nadal retiring. I've been more avoiding the topic, so this is a good time to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, it's sad, but I'm happy for him because I feel like now he's going to have more time to spend with his family, which I
Mm,
know it seems like he really loves that part of his life. And I know how demanding that pro life can be.
yeah.
It's it's grueling every week, and the toll that your body takes, the time it takes away from your family. So I'm happy for him though. Sad for the tennis world, but I'm actually thinking I don't want to come off like I'm predicting, but I feel like he's going to play Padel in the future. So,
Mm, that's the
I think we will see him and Federer on the Padel courts later. So
that
I
would be
hope I
interesting.
speak it into
Speaking of
existence.
existence,
Maybe,
yes.
maybe one day I see him on the Padel court. That would be great.
Yes, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. We got some shout outs here. We got Nathan in our hour. He says, "Good
Nathan.
morning." Yes, yes, he's
Awesome.
watching. Thanks for tuning in always and supporting. Happy Thanksgiving, he says, and he said definitely he said
Happy
covered to
Thanksgiving.
recent tennis match. Yep. So yes, I was a little jealous because I wanted to show but
He'll come in
all
the
good.
next one, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna. Yeah, I got to. I'll definitely gonna support and everything too. But yeah, it's with the Nadal thing. And like I said, when I thought of you as soon as he officially retired, and the injuries, he had a long career, and we talk
Mhm.
about that those the big three. Roger, Rafa, and Novak. It's funny when you say that. We sometimes we say Roger, Rafa, Novak, but they also say Nadal,
Yeah.
Federer, Djokovic. It just depends on their last name. But the big three, and now it's to one. And it looks like Novak also still playing a high level, but
Hmm.
you can start, the injuries are starting to catch up. Just those
Yeah.
long 15, 20 plus years
Yeah.
of long, great career and historic careers that they've had.
Yeah.
And before we got into it, before was doing some research on Nadal, just the beyond him just being dominant on the court, but you said off the court as well,
Hmm.
that how just what he represented with
Hmm.
tennis on and off. But the 22 Grand Slams, gold medal, all those wins, and uh, the great matches, the epic matches with Federer and
Incredible.
Djokovic and Andy Murray. Like I mean, just those lists of names. In your opinion, since you followed this closely, what made Nadal so great on clay, especially the record? I think 14 French Open was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That record's not gonna. That is gonna be a long time if it gets broken. If
Yeah.
ever, I doubt it. But he was
I
so
doubt it.
good. French
What?
Open and clay. He was just the king of clay. They called that's what he
Hmm.
was. But what,
Yeah.
in your opinion, what made him so dominant on that surface?
I think it's funny. I'm glad you asked that because I feel like tennis players we know, especially red clay, red clay, in my opinion, is the toughest surface.
Mm,
Because now it's funny, it's toughest because the points are longer, and it can kind of neutralize, because let's say you play somebody who is, they hit a lot of pace, the
mm,
clay, red clay, slows it down.
okay.
So I think even more highly of Nadal that he's won it 13 times, because it is the toughest, because you have to be in the best shape. The
Right.
points are longer. And it's just, I mean, it's nice that it's a soft surface. It's more cushiony than that of a hard court. But not like grass, the points are a little quicker. Hard court points are a little quicker, but clay is the longest. And so for him to have won that so many times is incredible, and it proves to show what I was going to say earlier of what these athletes stand for: discipline. And
Right.
that's the thing I always think about. I'm always curious. Now with social media, you could probably figure it out or find out, but when I was a little girl and I would see Nadal competing, I would say, I wonder what he does for fitness, because to be
Mm,
in that shape, 5 sets and for one match, and then
yeah.
not only that, that tournament goes on for 2 weeks. Now granted, they get a day off in between, sometimes, to get a break, but the amount of time that they have to be on the court, so the training must be intense, of
Yes.
Nadal's, that of what he was doing to prepare for the tournament. So a lot of discipline. Those are my thoughts. I mean, I don't think it's ever going to be done again,
No.
because that's extremely, extremely difficult. I think obviously winning it once would be tough, but 13 times, that's pretty great.
Yeah, and that's a great point because
Legend.
legendary, and that's a great
Yeah.
point because you said some of the greats, uh, I think Pete Sampras, he never won. I don't think he's ever won French Open.
I don't
And
think he got past the quarterfinals, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
right. And
Yeah.
then now think of it. This is a guy before Federer, before Nadal, before Djokovic.
Mhm.
This is a guy that was considered into some still because he was one of my all-time favorite Pete Sampras.
Oh,
He was
yeah,
so
he's
good too.
great.
But then those guys had surpassed him. But he said with Nadal, he figured that surface out until like I said, a great as Pete Sampras was, he's never won that tournament, French
Yeah,
Open. So that just goes to show how how good how good great he is and was.
yeah,
So you have that, and then I think Federer's won it a couple times, so it is hard to do, let
yeah.
alone 14 times.
And then and like all of the surfaces, just tennis in general, it's always a
Mhm.
grind. Don't get
Yes.
me wrong. It's always a grind because just the problem solving skills and being mentally tough, and then there comes the physical tennis skills of it all too.
Yeah.
But I think it's really difficult when you are when it's that physically difficult to keep moving your feet, and then for the length of the match and length of the points, it's such a grind. So I always say, like, red clay is the hardest grind because
Mhm.
the points are slower, so that's a
Yeah.
lot.
I mean, you definitely know.
Hmm.
You said
I do love
played,
red clay, but it
right?
is tough.
Yeah, that's right. And I was gonna ask, like you said, you played on that, so you know
Hmm.
the surfaces
Oh
and
yeah.
everything too. So that's why I love picking your brain on, the hard courts, the grass courts, the clay and things like that. Just playing at such a high level.
Hmm.
And for someone like Nadal to have that cerebral mindset, and you said that mindset to be able to play on that and to perfect it the way he did. You don't see too many people, and when someone else wins, you're thinking, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe someone else won besides Nadal." It's
Right,
like,
how did
yeah,
they outlast? Wait, it's like, whoa. I know,
yeah,
I was
what happened?
surprised
Right,
too.
right,
Incredible.
right. So some of the new clip players like Carlos Alcaraz, like, can they
Hmm.
figure it out? I would pick Nadal's brain on that. Like, look, how were you able to master that? But as me and you talked about before, said it's like 90% mental,
Yeah.
and he was very cerebral on the clay, all
Hmm.
on surfaces because he's won everywhere all the majors. But
Yeah.
to master something like that 14 times, it's like when Serena's mastered Wimbledon, or Federer and Djokovic mastered Australian and Wimbledon. It's just you have an advantage on that, but it's that 90% mental.
Absolutely. Tennis
It's,
is they are all of the sports. I'm playing a lot of platform tennis right now, which is basically a smaller scale of tennis.
mm,
The other difference is the ball, but also the equipment. But you can use the wires. It's surrounded by like what we call chicken wires, but
mm,
we always joke that it's extremely mental, almost as much as tennis, because you have to really construct the point and you just got to stay in it and not make mistakes, and it's like a chess game. So that's why, like, all of these racket sports, I don't know if you've seen all the studies, but there's so many good things coming out of them, with increasing life expectancy and just like great for your brain, because your brain is constantly thinking, how do I win this point, how do I not make a mistake, what are
yeah,
their strengths and weaknesses. You're analyzing your opponent. Like, there's a lot to think about, and that's why I love teaching them. So it's
yeah,
great.
yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
you're the one to do it. So yes, and then
Thank you.
yeah. So yeah, but yeah. Nadal now it's one of the greatest athletes, not just tennis player, greatest athletes of all time.
Yeah.
Officially retires. He's a great ambassador for
Yeah.
the tennis, and we'll see what he does afterwards. Spend some time with his family. But you said he's going to be in another racket sport. You said you're
I
going to
think
speak it
so
into existence.
too,
Yeah.
especially because at his academy, the one in Spain, they
Mm,
have padel courts. They have a few. So I would think that he's going to dabble. And it's so padel's actually huge in Spain
mhm.
and in Europe. So I can imagine him being on that court too.
Yeah, I can't see him sitting. It's like a lot of athletes. They don't sit.
Can't
Like he
sit
could be
well.
on. They
Mm-mm.
yeah no, and he'll probably be either do a little broadcast work or
Oh yeah,
something. He'll have a podcast. He's gonna
something.
do.
He's
He's
gonna
gonna
have
do
something.
something. Yeah, he's gonna do something. I mean, just the great. He's the great that he is. It's amazing that he's was able to do what he's done. So yeah, so big props to Rafa Nadal and the career he's had and everything too. So all right,
Yeah.
got to get into because you got your Ohio State hoodie, and it's a big rivalry. As bad, I mean, as bad as Michigan is this year, it's still a heated rivalry of Ohio State,
Mhm.
Michigan. Now you went to Ohio State and you've been in those rivalries and really witnessed
Mhm.
this and everything too. So explain how big this rivalry is, even if either Ohio State's ranked in the top, I think four, top
Mhm.
three, top four. I think they're second. Last I checked, second or third. They're
Mhm.
right up there, way up there still. But talk about the college rivalry of Ohio State versus Michigan, especially in college football,
How
how
much
big it is.
time do we have? No, I'm kidding. It's a great topic, one of my favorite topics just in
Hmm.
life because it's the biggest rivalry in sports. Um, so I'll tell you with what it started with in college. So I don't know if you knew this, but the Thursday night before we play Michigan in football, think about it. It's November, so it's cold out.
Yeah.
We would jump into a lake. It would be like 20, 30 degrees out, freezing
Oof.
cold. Yeah, it was tradition. I only did it my senior year because I knew my parents would kill me.
They're watching. You're like, you're not
I
going to
know
be doing this, right?
they'll know. I
Yeah.
think they already know. I probably
Yeah.
told
Yeah.
them
Right.
over a couple drinks. But yeah, you jump into a lake with all your buddies. It was called Mirror Lake. It was
Mm.
tradition. And Thursday night before Michigan, it was the entire campus. I mean, you should have seen the lake was it's not very it's shallow, and there were so many cops and firefighters. it
Oh,
was it
geez.
was craziness. Everyone knew that like Ohio State's campus would be nuts the night before. Michigan week is crazy to begin with, but
Right.
that's like the fun night. There's a lot of parties and there's a lot of craziness and chaos, but just the love for Ohio State. I mean, it's like none other. But also we do this thing where there's no M's on campus. So like
Mm.
Morrison Tower, there's red tape over every M on
Oh,
campus.
okay. Okay.
So because we don't like the letter M, and we don't even say
Yeah.
Michigan, we say that school up north.
The school of North, right.
School up north. I mean, it's a tradition. So lot of fun stuff that goes on at the school. What I would do again to be an athlete at Ohio State, I'd
Oh,
do it all over again. And then the week of, we would practice hitting a target, and the target was Michigan Mike. He was dressed in like this ugly Michigan shirt, and our coach would like have us, tee up and hit it, and it was so fun. I mean, we
yeah.
had we had a great time. So it's a really great rivalry. I might go to we have what's called Philly Buckeyes. It's our
Okay.
Philly our
Yeah.
Philly Buckeye alumni group. So I'll probably go watch the game with them in the city. We usually go to
Mm.
like Ladder 15. You walk in, it's awesome. It's like being in Ohio State again. It's like you walk in, you see a sea of red. So a lot of crazy Buckeye fans. So it'll be really fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, I know. I know. Like you said, I was like, it was just perfect timing to have you on because, like you said,
Perfect.
it was Ohio State, Michigan, or
Oh yeah.
school up north.
School
Is
up north, yes.
the Michigan U school up north, but
Hmm.
Ohio the Ohio State
The Ohio
Buckeyes.
State.
I
Yep.
gotta get it right. The Ohio State. But yeah, that rivalry. Like I said, that tradition, the rivalry for so many years, and like I said, yes, Michigan's not what they were even last year. They were national champions last season, but it's just like with Penn State. It's like when Ohio
Yeah.
State plays Penn State or Michigan plays Penn State. It's like it's still that a rivalry, no matter how bad or how great a team is. It's
Mm-hmm.
still a heated rivalry. It's like when we were in high
Yeah.
school. You had high school rivalries. And you
Oh yeah.
just you start doing the pep rallies and things like that. It's like yeah, like so it was it'd be great, so great to be a student and into these rivalries. We used to have so much fun. Like our high school was that same way. It's just we did those rivalries and that football game was that Saturday, but all week we just trashed the other school and do all types of things like that. So yeah, it's so much fun. So I know you're very excited about that rivalry. The game coming up.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the band does too. I always love
Mm,
watching our band is incredible. I mean, talk about discipline. I mean, they practice. I remember when we would get ready, when we go back to school in August, we'd be practicing in the heat of the day. And I would see them practicing by the stadium in like a lot of gear with those, big instruments, and it would be hot. And I just remember thinking, wow, at least I don't have to carry all of that around
yes,
and
right.
practice for hours. And we practiced for hours, but it's different. And
Yeah,
so those guys are, but it's funny when you watch the halftime shows and you watch the band, they are so perfect. Everything is
yeah,
orchestrated, just it's synchronized, it's beautiful. And you can tell all of the hard work. So I love that part as well. Whenever I can see that script Ohio and the marching band, it just makes me so happy. The other thing I love too is like seeing the old Ohio State, Michigan like films,
mm,
the like from
hmm,
back in the day. That's also fun to watch too. So there's a lot of exciting things this week. So
yeah. It's like you said. It's almost like you said. You're feeling that adrenaline and
oh yeah.
like you're it's like back to being a you said student
Mhm.
athlete and say, hey, I'm part of this. I am a big part of this. And look,
Yeah.
I know you're looking forward to
I
the
wear my
game
gear every Saturday.
for
It's
sure.
nice to every Saturday morning. I know what I'm gonna wear. I'm like,
Yeah,
yes, I'm
yeah.
Ohio State.
That's so funny. It's like being a big
Eagles
Eagles
fan.
fan. I
Yeah.
got my Eagles gear on now,
Yep.
but I've been wearing Eagles all week. From
Oh yeah.
but I wear just every Sunday. Like I said, I know. Yep, put a hoodie on,
Oh yeah.
jersey or whatever, just because we're just big fans of these teams and
Absolutely.
everything too. So yeah, for sure. But yeah, so yeah, Ohio State and the team up north plays on Saturday. So everyone,
Yeah.
it's always like I said, it's just always a great game, always a great the rivalry itself, even if it's a blowout or anything like that. I
Yeah.
don't know, not sure if it's gonna be a blowout, but Ohio State is much better than Michigan, especially this year.
Yeah.
Could be
Ohio
still,
State's playing well.
yeah, they
They're
are.
looking good. I mean, I
Hmm.
didn't get to see the Oregon game where they lost. See, I
Mm.
wasn't watching. It's
Yeah,
super.
that's what happened. Yep.
Uh, but I didn't get to see it. So, but I saw some highlights. But I think they're looking really good. And so the other thing too is I'm on the lookout for what bowl game they. I would love to make it
Mm,
to a bowl game.
yeah,
They're predicting maybe the Rose Bowl, but we'll see. Because if I went to the Rose Bowl, that would be going back home for me to California where I grew up.
California. Yeah, for sure. That would be great.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
if they went out, beat Michigan and they went out, and I think the Big Ten championship, of course.
yeah.
They're gonna be top. They'll get the bye because they'll be a top four. But
Yeah.
now with this new format, the 12 team format, which it's been crazy. The teams are just changing every week. Alabama got beat last week. Was really all these top
Mhm,
teams just got beat last week. So
mhm.
now I
A
think
lot of
Alabama's on the
upsets.
top. All upsets. Yeah, that's college football. That's
Yeah.
that's just the way it is. It's always and now with 12 teams making it, if you have three losses, well, good luck with
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
for
Oh, yeah.
sure. Yeah. So, but Ohio State just got the one loss, so they should be look. They're looking good. So they'll
Looking
be a
good.
top four, top five team heading into it. So, all right, just got one more, two more actually. Let's talk a little Thanksgiving,
Okay.
and everything. What you got coming up? Just with family and friends. Anything? What you got? How you celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow?
So starting off with today, we're having a fun paddle platform tennis Thanksgiving tournament with a ton of friends. It's super
Okay.
fun. It's we
Yeah.
just kind of play a lot of, it's a nice little exercise before tomorrow. A lot of fun, and then tomorrow will be just a family day. My sister's hosting. She lives close by, thank goodness. So
Yeah.
don't have to travel too far for that.
Yep.
We'll just spend a lot of time with family, celebrate a couple birthdays. And then, yeah, I'm looking forward to a relaxing weekend. And then hopefully, like I said, Saturday, I'll watch the game
Yep.
and take a couple of days off of work. And that's it. And then
Okay.
I can't believe it'll be Christmas soon. So,
I know. Wow. I know. It's interesting. Once Halloween and
yeah,
then it's just a whirlwind. It's like
just
Thanksgiving. And I
crazy.
always feel like Thanksgiving, I always get upset. My wife, we talk about this. I always get upset because people look over Thanksgiving. I was like, wait,
I
hold on.
say that. I love Thanksgiving. It
Me
gets no
too.
love.
It
Gets
gets no
no love.
love, no love, no
No
love.
love.
And so I'm like, no, we're gonna celebrate Thanksgiving because Christmas decorations, and I love
Yeah.
Christmas. I mean, Christmas is my favorite holiday, but
Mhm.
I'm like, Thanksgiving is we got to celebrate this. This is
Yeah.
the family and food
Yeah.
and
You
just
don't have
that's
to get gifts.
yeah, you don't have to get gifts,
Next
right?
time.
Exactly. That's a good
Mhm.
point. Yeah. Great
It's
point.
that.
Yeah, you don't have to get gifts. It's just being with family
Yeah.
and yeah. So like this year, it's just me and my wife. Just we're doing the cooking ourselves and just us two this year. Have a nice
Yeah.
relaxing time, and then the weekend. Christmas will be the big one. We go back up to upstate New York. Is
Mhm.
have the family, a whole lot of family there and everything too. So, but yeah, that's have a relaxing Thanksgiving, watch a little football
Yeah.
and it's a 3 game slate for NFL. Wish the Eagles were playing, but
Mm.
well, that'll be Sunday. So you got Baltimore this week, so should be good. And
It's nice
watch
to
some.
hit the reset button.
It is good. It's good reset, yes, and then start the next week back to work and from there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Last one I was going to ask you, what else you got coming up? I know with this teaching and probably some more
Mhm.
tournaments coming up. I know it's getting cold, so that's
Yeah.
probably going to be tough to to
Oh,
play in
yeah.
this cold. So, but what
Yeah.
else you got coming up?
With tennis, I haven't been playing as much. I'd like to get back into it though, because I've been playing more the paddle and padel,
Battle.
the other racket sports. But I do have a platform tennis, which is we call it paddle, but that tournament will be the beginning of December. I think I have two platform tennis tournaments in December, so that'll be fun. And then Christmas, and that's, yeah, and working, and then continuing this learning process of all the clothing and everything is
Yeah,
fun for me, because I'm a huge, I love sports too, but arts and crafts are a big passion of mine too. So
yeah.
I love that part of just learning and reading and all that good stuff. So that's going to be taking up most of my time. I'm happy about it, and of course spending time with my dog and my
Mhm.
family
Yeah.
and the boyfriend and everything. And I'm lucky because my boyfriend actually plays um racket sports as well. So that's good.
Okay. All right. Well, it's everything's looking up and looking great for you, and I'm glad to like I said to talk with you every time. Just catching up on all
Yeah.
things sports, fashion, life, and tennis, all those things too. So again, I can't thank you enough for always game to be on the show. Really appreciate it and appreciate the friendship and happy Thanksgiving to you and the fam as well as always. And yeah, enjoy the holidays. And like I said, I'm gonna make it to a couple of your, even if this is the paddle or whatever it is.
Mhm.
I want to make it to a couple of the matches and support and watch you do your work, do your thing
Oh,
on those
thanks,
things. So.
Courtney. I
For,
appreciate that.
yeah. So yeah, just keep me posted on that. And when the weather gets a little warmer, tennis will for sure. I definitely want to watch one of your tournaments as well and matches. So
Absolutely. That'll be
yeah.
fun.
All right. Well, yeah. So yeah, they say enjoy the time off, reset,
Yeah.
and we'll do this. We'll definitely do this again when tennis starts again, and
Hmm.
we'll get in. Like I said, meet up in person again for sure. So thank you. Can't thank you enough, and happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you for having me, Courtney. This was so fun. Happy
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yep. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone enjoys their Thanksgiving with their family and friends. Be safe and have some fun and in eating and all those things and enjoy the time off. So again, that's a wrap for the show. This will be, like I said, be up on all the podcasts and social media platforms. Until next time, everyone stay safe and God bless.
Thank you.